channel about everything having to do with books. I'm sorry I haven't posted in a couple of weeks, but that's because I was on vacation. And speaking of vacation, for my video today I'm going to be doing a review of one of the books that I read on vacation, and that is Grenade by Alan Gratz. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it gives you a good new recommendation. So we'll start off with a plot description of this book. So this book takes place in World War II, and it features two different perspectives. And it takes place on the island of Okinawa in Japan, and so one of the perspectives is Hideki, who is a young Japanese boy, and he is a Japanese soldier, and his goal is to kill an American soldier. They tell him to not come back until he's killed an American soldier, and he gets 2 grenades with which to do this. And then we also have Ray, who is a American Marine, and he lands on the same island as Hideki and is told that he has to kill as many Japanese soldiers as he can. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the plot and the pacing of this book. I gave this book 3 stars in my rating out of 5, and the plot and the pacing are some of the good things about that, so I'm going to talk about it first. This was obviously a historical fiction novel based on a true event, and I found it so intriguing because this was a part of World War II that I never really considered before, because when you think about World War II, you tend to think about all of the battles that went on in Europe and American involvement and things like that, but I never really considered this particular battle before, which is one of the reasons why I found this book. And Alan Gratz also wrote this in a very intriguing way. Pretty much every chapter ended with a cliffhanger and you never knew what was going to come next. I thought that the pacing was one of definitely the highest points for this book, and it was very intriguing and you were always on the edge of your seat. So if you want a fast and relatively quick read, then I would recommend picking this up. But on the other hand, I did only give this 3 out of 5 stars, and the characterization was one of the reasons why I took away those 2 stars, because I felt that it was a lot weaker than I would have liked it to be. Personally, I found one perspective a lot more interesting than the other, which is never a good thing when you're reading a 2-perspective book. And I'm not going to say which one it was, in case you do choose to read this book, because I would recommend it. But I found the characterization lacking, and with such an interesting plot, it would have been a lot more interesting if you had characters that you really felt you knew and were rooting for. And even though I was rooting for them, I feel like I didn't really know either of them that well. And that was one of the weak points of this book. So, and like their relationship with each other was fascinating, but also I feel like it could have been more well developed. So to sum up all of my thoughts, I thought this was a really interesting concept that was made weaker by lack of characterization, and so this is why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I still really enjoyed reading it, but I felt like it could have been a lot more emotionally intense and fascinating than it was. And if you read this, you might have a different opinion. You might love the characterization, and that's cool. I love how everyone can have a different opinion about books. But overall, in my opinion, this book was interesting. And finally, here are some more books you want to check out if you like this one. And where better to look than other books written by the same author? And from my sister, who has read some other books by this author, she feels that this one isn't his strongest, but she really likes his other ones. And so here are some books on the screen, also written by this author, if you enjoy this book and this concept. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you've read this book, let me know what your thoughts are about it down in the comments. And please like and subscribe and tell a friend about the channel. And we will close out with a bookish quote. I have lived 1,000 lives and I have loved 1,000 loves. I've walked on distant worlds and seen the end of time. Because I read. George R.R. Martin.